Hello, welcome back. Today we're going to be painting Hela from Marvel Crisis Protocol. So we're going to do this in a couple stages. So like always, first we start with our flesh. We're going to go with Gilliman's flesh. It's my new favorite flesh tone. Definitely works for Caucasian skins. It is the way to go for me, if you don't mind primering white. So let's get this on. Okay, and that does it for her skin. The rest of this model is basically two colors. It's black and green. The green is all these like little bands and stuff on her, and the cape, some of the, like the tips of the horns. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the contrast colors for the green, and then just paint over the rest of it black. That way we don't have to worry about our lines or anything like that. What's this militarum green? Now let's try this. This is more of like a bright, vibrant green that works for her. So let's just kind of get us, and then just kind of start going over all the areas. You don't have to be very precise, except down here towards the flames. We do want to keep them semi-white for now, because we're going to use a different green for them in the future. So let's just get this down. It's funny because this video is going to look a lot like painting Mysterio because, you know, he's green. So let's paint her hand here, some stuff in here, get in there, the cape. The cape we might do something different with because it'll be really streaky if we just use contrast, so we'll see. We'll see as we let this dry and all that stuff, because it's going to be a little bit of a process here, because this whole model's going to have to dry before we can do anything else with it. So let me just get up there. So yeah, don't be shy, just get it in there. Doing a nice little, taking a little break from Warhammer right now. Not playing, but painting, because most of the videos on here lately have been Warhammer related, so it's nice to get some other stuff on here. Even though, like, traditionally the videos don't do as well, but that's not true, because, you know, my best performing video is how to paint ARC troopers, and you know, it's just painting white. So I have lots of clone troopers to paint, but you know, I don't think I should just be like, hey, we're gonna paint phase 2 clone troopers today, we're gonna paint phase 1 clone troopers today. I don't think it's a very fun format for you guys to see painting white every week. But if you think differently, definitely let me know. And you think, no, we want to see that, we want to know how to paint we don't know how to paint clone troopers, then I can be that guy if that's what you want. Okay, let's get these. We're gonna try to leave her eyes white. Historically, getting into the eyeballs is not something I'm good at, so we'll see. put more on this side so it's darker, like a shadow. I'm just trying to play with it a little bit. You don't have to look at reference 2 before we go on to the black parts, because I'm not exactly sure what stays and what doesn't. So let's get these legs here, and like I said, we're trying to keep the spots here clean, but there's only so much we can do here. You know, these guys over at Atomic Mass, they really like their decorative bases. That these are the older ones. They're not as obnoxious as some of the newer ones, but just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Doesn't mean that you should put them all on floating bases. Okay, and oh no, we still need that. I'm gonna use a finer brush to get more around her eyes. Like this, because it's more pointy right now. Okay, and then we're just gonna get in here and just start kind of pulling down in here. And let's just get in the eyes, because it's gonna look weird if I do it differently right now. Okay, that's how you paint Hela. No, I'm just kidding. This, I mean, this could totally be fine for some people. Like if you want to keep darkening up those middle areas, but we are going to go in with a black after this stuff dries and cleaning that up. Her swords are supposed to be black, but I don't know. I don't know if I like that. It's just too much of like just 2 colors. So I'm gonna let that dry, and then we will get back. I use warp lightning by the way. Warp lightning for contrast paint. So yeah, we'll let that dry and we'll be back in a bit. And we're back. We've allowed this to dry. It's looking pretty good in some areas. The cape I'm still not 100% sold on, but we'll move on knowing that we can change it later. So I don't know, I'm kind of torn between going black and black gray. I think I'm gonna go black gray first. I don't like going just straight black. I think black gray will give us a better coat. I've looked at our references, and I think this is probably overkill, but we're gonna go with our little teeny brush because there's lots of little areas, and you know, gotta try our best to not mess those up. So the good news is that the wash was able to darken the edges for us. So we're doing this on a full stomach, so we have had food in us, we have water. It's not the hottest part of the day anymore, so our chances are pretty good of not messing this up completely. And we're going to start picking out those little areas and filling them in with our black gray. Let's get these like the tight areas first, so we still have stamina in our hands. Like I said, this brush might be a little too small. You could pretty much do everything with like a regular size brush, but my hands shake a lot. You've probably noticed watching some of my videos. So I like to give myself every advantage I can when it comes to painting. So a smaller brush will help me more than it helps someone with steady hands. And so far so good. But don't get too excited. Just keep going at this pace. Don't want to ever get overconfident and then start making bad mistakes. Because to go over at this point, we'd have to paint it white again. So there's a lot at stake, but we can do it. It's good to have a nice point on your brush too when you're doing this. I'm only working on the front half right now. The back half I'm not worrying about right now, since this is the spot you'll see the most. I want to make sure while my hands are in good condition that we're getting that done. And I like that the green kind of darkened the area for us, which gives us a nice little kind of highlight transition to areas. Now let's work onto here. I'm avoiding the head right now just because I don't want to mess it up. I want to get a little bit of warm up on these parts before I go dive in. Okay, it looks like her whole hand might be black. I'm not seeing any different pieces here. I think I'll leave her glove green for now. Get up here. Can't really see. Maybe it just goes like that. I don't know if her other glove is the same. I don't know why it wouldn't be, but so let's go like that. Okay, now for the head, it kind of fades to black a bit. So let's kind of bring it in. Just kind of like brush it in. Like that. And we'll get the little spikies because those will be easier to get later. And then, like, I think we'll take this to a spot where I start to feel like my hands are degrading, and then we'll stop and then take a break and then go again later. I think that's probably the smartest thing to do with her, since it is so there are so many of these little nooks and crannies to be in. But we'll see. And I have a feeling they'll be getting a phone call in a second too, so that'll stop my recording. You can just paint this whole part right here. You know, I will say, like, I've had a lot of fun painting the Asgard models for this game. They've announced a couple of models that I'm interested in too for this. I mean, they keep expanding, so this game's only gonna grow and grow. They're revamping some of the starter characters, which is great. Just giving new cards for them, which I was scared that they weren't gonna, and they were just gonna release new versions of old characters, and I'm glad they're not. I don't know what exactly is going on here, so let's just kind of do something like that. I think that'll work. Okay, and then give a little spot in there. And then got these boot panels here. And then this boot panel here. And then the tip right there. I think that's how we'll do that. And go here to here. Getting the other side here. I think. Let's leave it like that. Okay. And then we've got a lot of spots in here that we've got to get. Pardon the camera angle for a bit while I get in here. Or while I attempt to get in here, anyway. That is what it's that. Just double checking like the front to see if where these pieces are wrapping, so I can make my guesses onto where the black paint will go. Taking small breaths as I'm painting, but you know, of course, remembering to keep breathing, because we are in some really tight areas. And we're getting them the best we can, but it is very difficult in some of these little areas. Like the side of that foot I just did. Like, you can't see that back foot over there, but I sure as heck can. And there's like some part here, some part there. Okay. Let's get her back. While we can. There's like a little V back here. I'm getting it in there, just her back. There's a lot of. So we can get up here. Continue this way to make sure that we are leaving the correct spots uncovered. Okay. And then we're going here and up here. You would probably want to assemble this and paint it in sub-assemblies so that you're not doing shit like this to the model. But also, it's the back under here. You can't really see it. So, do it what you will with that. If you think you can do it good enough, then just do that. Alright, cool. So now we'll kind of get her horns. Use just a bigger brush for this just because we're here and we have it. And use kind of like, not dry brush, but like drier brush, if that makes sense, to do this. So what I'm doing right now is just, it has black paint on it, but like not a ton. and we're just brushing it in to the areas. Same thing now for the front. And if you, to get dry, you can start with the dark colors more towards the middle. So you get like a nice little transition there. And just kind of like lightly dry brush it up the spiky bits. That'll get you that. Not bad. Not bad. You know, like I said, her sword in the pictures looks black, but I think that's kind of boring. I think I'm gonna paint it gold. Just to kind of highlight the, well, first of all, just to give it some more color than just like the couple that are on here. And then when we do the flame colors, it'll tint it a little bit green, which is fine. We want to give it some variety. This over here. So like that. Finish this off. Okay. And now we can go towards the flames. And for that, we're going to use our Tesseract Glow Technical Paint. Shake the crap out of it. We've used this a little bit on our Night Haunt. I'm not really sure how it's looking, but we'll see. Let's get this. Let's start with the flames. Should we just kind of stir this up just in case? Oh, it's like hard in here. I knew it wasn't shaking for a reason. Ooh. See, this is why GW paint sometimes is not the greatest thing. It kind of dries out way too fast in these pots. So let's see what's usable in here. We always have some fallbacks that we can do. I'm kind of not feeling it. I'm like, I don't want to risk it. just to completely screw up the model, you know? I'm just kind of shaking now. This one's really liquidy. But let's give it a shot on the base. So we're just going to paint this on. Being sure to kind of avoid touching the model. Yeah, I don't know. Let's not do that. Let's let that dry, and then we'll come back to it. I'll probably repaint it white, and then we'll start over with a different paint. I don't trust that paint right now. Alright, so we'll see you in a bit. Okay, I've painted the white over and let it sit for a little bit. It's still a little wet on the bottom, but I think this will blend in with it. It'll be fine. So we're taking our Escorpina green, which is the standard green that I've been using for ever now. And we'll just start with the hands, giving the top part some more time to dry. We really want like this spooky or spoopy, depending on what you call it, fire coming off of her. So that looks about right for the what's the fire. That will go in here and get this, and this one we want to get pretty close to the fingers to get, and this means that we'll probably have to do some sort of green wash on the blade here, which will be fine. Just to give it that tinge of death energy. Goes there, got some parts up there. Just kind of, we're not really, we're caking it on, but like controlled caking, I guess is what we can call this. It dries a lot better this way, and you know, it's not transparent as if you did it, if you just painted it on, and it won't be all streaky. Hold on, I got a little thingy there. Okay. We just gotta be careful when we're poking close to the actual model, not just like the base. This brush has like a flat end, and that's kind of what I'm using to be against the, to go into the cracks of the model as best as I can. And it's not like I bought this brush because it had a flat end, it just, after time, the end has flattened out, and that's what I use it for now. Just be careful when you're around the model. Yeah, those white spots. Maybe we'll use the Tesseract Glow as a wash over the top of this, and give it some more yellowy colors and stuff, but we'll see. This stuff's kind of in a timeout right now. So like I said, I'm still not like 100% on the cape portion, but it is what it is at this point. Like we don't have the sucky thing about contrast, right, is that we don't have, well, I don't have a matching paint, like base paint that I can just put over the top of something to kind of flatten it out. So we're kind of stuck with how it is right now. Just kind of paint with that right now. And all you people on the internet, you keep putting these in your mouth. Stop putting it in the mouth to point it. All you have to do is take your fingers, see this little line right here? Everyone has it. You just bend your fingers, put the brush in it when it's a little bit wet, close your hand, and just twist as you pull out. It'll be in that little nook right there, and you can repoint your brush. There's gross stuff in this paint. Stop sticking it in your mouth. You know, there's all those good soup memes going around, but just don't put it in your mouth. Especially with like washes, because there's some gross stuff in there. It probably won't kill you. It probably definitely won't kill you if you've used it. If you've been doing it your whole life this long, but you know, there are alternatives to then sticking it in your mouth that are just as effective. We'll just brush into the Tesseract Glow again. And then once we're done with this, it's pretty much up to us at that point if we want to leave it or wash it with like a military shade or like a contrast paint to bring out these divots and stuff, which I think we're going to do to give us some better variations in there, so it's not just like flat green. So we're gonna let all that dry. We'll get our black out, just a regular black, and we're gonna hit the base and just get that all painted black and stuff while that dries. And then we'll go away for a bit and come back because it's still gonna be wet. It's gonna be wet for a while. And then we'll do our washes and stuff, but for now, let's get all of this. I like to do our base rims black on all our Marvel Crisis Protocol guys, just to keep them consistent with each other. Use the same bases for most of them. I'm painting this black because I'll just go over it with a gray, with that medium sea gray, and that'll get our there we go. Just kind of get that so we have a consistent kind of surface to get our gray on. Very cool. So we'll let that dry and we'll see you back in a minute. Okay, we are dry. We're gonna do some military shade on our flames. I think we're gonna do another pass after this. We're gonna do like a lighter color. So like we'll use the Escorpina green, like the base coat that we did, as our mid-tone, and then we're gonna use this stuff as our dark tone, and then we'll do a dry brush over it to get our light areas or highlights. And I think that'll be better. I think and for the highlights, I think we're gonna do like a white, or like that gray white. We're just going to quickly coat this. If we can pull from the front, we're going to do that, so we don't have like big old globs. Okay, that's good. Let's take that away like this. Get these big globs off here. Yeah, this pooling at these sections is not good because it might drip and dry like a drip. We don't want that. We can leave it down there. Okay, so we'll come back in a bit when it's dry and then do our final dry brush and do the eyes and be done. Okay, this has had some time to dry now. So we're going to start hitting it with the dry brush, and we're just going to use this Ghost Gray color. Still looks a little damp on the bottom, but we'll do that area last and that should keep it okay for us. Man, I destroyed this brush. That's why I don't buy expensive brushes. That would just ruin them. Okay, so we're gonna take it, just kinda brush out the ends. Add some smokiness to the paint. Add some stuff to the sword too. Arm over here. weird in there, but it's okay. Okay. And now we just paint the base with our medium sea gray, how we do all our other bases. And that's with just like a light coating over the top of the whole thing. And it's just like using a light touch and just kind of scraping it over the top. I mean, realistically, that would probably be yellow, but just using our flat end of our brush. That good. And there we have Hela completed. We can just do like a quick black around the base just to clean up the chipped parts that we got from holding onto it for those little bits. But yeah, so as always, like, comment, subscribe. New videos every Wednesday. And we will catch you on the next one.